Jett Lawrence, I believe first week back at home. You guys have been in California for a few weeks. Was it nice to get back home?
Yeah, no, it was good to be back home. Get a little homesick, get back into the normal schedule again. Good to see all the lads again at the compound, go for cycles and stuff like that with all the lads, talk some smack. So it was nice to be home.
Is it nice not to go to Apollo on a Tuesday and be dodging 65s every single day?
Yes, that was very nice, just to go home and go out on the track and not have anyone in the way and kind of be on your own program and not have to worry about 65s.
Isn't it a weird flashback compared to when you guys first came over to the U.S., being with Geico Honda, going to Milestone on the weekends, there'd be a million people, St. Fox. It's got to make you appreciate the compound, the money you guys have invested to, build your own program and your own facility. It's cool to be out in the public. I'm sure they appreciate seeing you, but it's hard to do quality work.
Yeah, no, it is. It's always fun to go to public tracks again and ride, but it's difficult for us when we just want to do our motos, log laps, or do testing and stuff like that, because the track owners have different programs of times. Say we're watering it this time or watering it that time, not in between, So it's a little difficult with that, but we're definitely grateful to have the compound to be able to go and kind of test when we want to, like water in between our breaks, and it makes our day very efficient.
So over these couple of opening rounds where you guys have been in California, you guys have definitely been hard at work. We've noticed in the last 2 weeks some of the frame bracing that's been added. We know there's other things that we don't see that you guys work very hard on. How much progress have you guys made over these opening 3 rounds with the bike, particularly with, I believe you and Hunter were more struggling with some rear instability early in outdoors. Can you give us a gauge of how much progress you guys have made? Yeah,
we made a lot of progress. The team's been working hard. They always do. They're always trying to work just to be better when we are feeling good on the bike. So the team's been working really hard, thankfully, the last 3 weeks, and we made a lot of progress.
You guys, of course, you've had a couple starts this year that haven't been as good as usual, but most of them, you and Hunter, have been well up front. As everybody else has moved into more starting maps, everybody's really committing to the scoop. Do you feel like that, be able to keep that advantage on the starts, has it gone harder, or are you guys far enough ahead of the trend? Are you still pretty comfortable with the margin you guys have had?
I think I'm still pretty confident with my starts. Start is still a big technique thing as well. It's not just a start map that will help you. There's still a lot of feeding the clutch and stuff like that you got to be good at. So, yeah, I'm still pretty confident. I know everyone's starting to get onto the launch maps now, but no, I think our team and Get ECU's Athena are going to be good for us.
So one little bit of twist here. Going into the off weekend, what are we going to do? I know you guys will still do your work, but what are you looking forward to in the next week?
I'm looking forward. I'm going to be going to Nashville to see my girlfriend's new house and hang out with her in her world a bit with her music industry and stuff like that.
I guess that's fun. We always see, I see her a lot at the races with you, but it's got to be nice to be with somebody that has a very different life and culture to get to go jump into, to kind of get out of this sometimes.
It is. It's really cool, and it's fun because I go there and I'm no one, It's like I can just stand in the background, not be noticed. So it's really cool. I like it. I'm always into learning new stuff, and it's cool to see her world and see the behind the scenes with that.
Welcome back from what I consider one of the trendiest injuries. We went years with nobody doing Achilles injuries, and now it's just like one after another. Tell me how your recovery was, because I've seen really mixed response on how this has been for some guys.
I ain't gonna lie to you, it fucking sucks. But I don't know. It just feels like it's so long that you do absolutely nothing. You get the surgery and it's like 12 weeks of literally no pressure, no nothing. You can't walk, can't do nothing. You're just kind of posted up. So I feel like it's more like mental, this one, than anything. Normally, sounds bad saying it, but normally we're used to breaking bones and you know how long that's going to take. And this one, you don't. So yeah, this one was definitely tough, but just a whole lot of physio, and I had a good team around me to help me and just kind of keep me in good spirits. So it's been good. Obviously it's been tough and it's been aggravating and draining, but it feels like an accomplishment to be here right now.
So doing Achilles, a lot of guys have had a knee issue, and then when you come back, you're really tentative to dab the knee. The Achilles, where you that first landing off stuff, are we landing kind of more on the heel? Do you kind of catch yourself either consciously or subconsciously kind of moving the foot and protecting it a little bit?
Yeah, I still do it now. Kind of just subconsciously, like you were saying, it just, I feel confident that I can take a big blow and be fine now. Like obviously I am healed, but it's tough. Like I guess it just doesn't feel normal. It doesn't feel normal until like the 9-month mark, I think, and I'm just at like 5.5. So it doesn't feel completely great. I still have aches and pains when I ride, but I at least know from the doctor's standpoint that it's going to take something like dramatic to do something else again. So I'm in a good spot. I've been able to ride, got a couple good weeks in. Like I'm in a good spot, so it's time to show up.
How prepared do you actually feel tomorrow? Is this a race yourself kind of back into shape, or do you feel pretty confident to go the full pull tomorrow? Like where do you personally feel like you're ready to go?
I think when you miss as many races as obviously I had to miss with this, I think you're always going to have to race yourself back into shape. I think it's really hard to come back and just be tip-top shape and compete with guys who've been racing all year. You know, you can't really like replicate race cardio. So I feel like for the most part I am going to have to race myself back into shape, but when I was comparing myself to my teammates back home, I was in a good spot. I feel good, I feel fast, and if the cardio is the last thing to kind of show up, then so be it. But I feel like I'm probably at like a 75% feel. I feel like I'm good enough to get good starts and run up front, and I wouldn't be here if I didn't think I couldn't do it. So I feel good, I'm ready to go, I'm excited to go, and like I kind of said earlier, like, dude, it was so hard to get back from this injury. I feel like it's an accomplishment to be here, and I'm just kind of soaking it in and just grateful to be here.
Are you the kind of guy tomorrow, let's say we get a top 3, top 5 start somewhere in there, do you just in this position say, F it, I'm going to run till I blow up and just push myself? Or will you kind of meter yourself in the middle of the race and focus on more of the results? Like, what kind of matters more to you tomorrow?
No, I'm gonna go as hard as I can, and what I get is what I get. You know, I feel like the amount of fitness that I was able to get in, I feel like I should be able to do the motos and stay the pace, but you never know. I got to get out there. But yeah, if I get some good starts, I want to run up front. I feel like I would be happier if I run up front for as long as I can, and if that's all I got, that's all I got, and I fade. I'd rather do that than to just kind of ride around and be complacent. I don't want to be complacent. I want to go for it, and if good things happen, good things happen. If not, I've earned the right to come here and kind of be pressure-free. I mean, I'm at 5 months, I think, coming back from Achilles, and normally it's like 7 to 8. So I put in the work, and I'm happy to just be here.
Last one, your trainer, Mike Brown, we heard before Thunder Valley they had a big crash, ended up having surgery, broke back. Were you able to check on Mike this weekend? How's he doing?
Yeah, I've been going to the hospital pretty much probably every day or two in between, but yeah, the whole team has been kind of taking shifts and hanging out with Brownie, so he's never at the hospital alone, and it's been good. Obviously, he's doing good. Surgery went well. He's back on the mends, so he is good. But yeah, prayers obviously to Brownie, but he's in good faith, and he'll be watching this weekend, and try to give him something to smile about in the bed.
Seth Hammaker, we missed you last weekend.
I know.
Let's go back to Hangtown. So Hangtown, I saw you down 2-3 corners in with Thrasher.
Yep.
A couple sections later, there's just a video of you walking off the track. That's all I know until Jacob told me you're out. So let's flashback. What happened at Hangtown?
Yeah, so Hangtown Moto 2, crashed with Thrasher going up the hill.
Yeah.
That was no issues, just like I was fine from that. Got up, went down the hill, took a right. Some kid in front of me went for the triple, so I just backed out, went double, and went to go launch off the single. He framed the triple, came to a complete stop, and I landed on his rear tire when I jumped off the single and just like slammed myself really hard.
Yeah.
Right to the side, shoulder, head, arm, so just kind of like pretty bad one for the circumstances, and called it definitely wasn't going to ride the rest of that moto. Had to get some stitches, get checked out, and luckily nothing too messed up with the shoulder, just banged up. But had to take last weekend off just to not make anything worse, heal up a little bit more, and back ready to go here at High Point.
Nice. I know it feels like everybody always has something they're dealing with. I've seen you a lot of rounds this year with that. We're talking about your right side shoulder, it usually is taped up.
Yeah.
I know you've had some major shoulder injuries in the past. Is that just old stuff, or do you have something lingering from off season that you've kind of been racing with all year? Or?
Yeah, this has kind of been an all year thing. It's been with last summer I had my left shoulder fixed up. Luckily it's not that one. That one's perfectly fine. My right shoulder, during Supercross, I had a couple moments where I just fell in like a bowl corner or something, stuck my hand out, and it would just pop out and in really quick. And that is from, I have a Hill-Sachs lesion, which is a dent in the ball of the humerus from dislocating my shoulders in the past. And it just slips out a little bit easier. And it takes like a week to heal. Like it just hurts for a week and then it goes back to normal. So it probably got a little worse than the crash last weekend at Hangtown. So we'll continue to tape it, monitor it, do therapy, get it as strong as we can, and then at the end of the season reevaluate what we need to do, if we need to do anything.
Somebody in your position, I mean, we go through the SuperCross Championship right down the wire for the title. 250 Pro Motocross has started weird. There was a lot of guys, like Hayden's definitely the favorite, but there was yourself, Chance, Levi. There's a lot of guys that came into it like, okay, here's his contenders, and everybody has had just something terrible happen across the first 3 races. So really, like yourself, again, Chance, those guys, like, anything can happen. You're pretty far on the outside. Joe's really the only one in. So what do you do week to week now? Is it just as simple as let's just race for wins? Whatever happens, happens? Like, how do you mentally rebound from coming into it, being like, I'm ready to race for a title, and having it kind of slip out that quickly?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it like you said, it slips out of your grasp as soon as you have one bad one, right? And it feels like you're out of it. So obviously with me missing a race, now I just got to continue to try and go out there and achieve new goals for me for the outdoors, land moto podiums, moto overall, you know, results and stuff like that on the podium. So looking to try and do that, and maybe click off a win or two here, you know, before the season ends. But like really just gain experience so that next year I can be a contender indoors and out, and just continue to build this season like I had in Supercross.
Last one for you, the Kicks 250 platform is new this year. Very different engine, very different chassis. Where are we at so far in Pro Motocross, you know, compared to your last year's setup? What is good at the moment, and is there anything you're particularly working on at the moment?
Yeah, overall, like the bike is in a pretty good spot right now. Engine-wise, bottom end is much better than last year. Mid to top, we're still trying to find a little bit, especially for outdoors. Supercross, we don't worry about that too much. And then chassis-wise, for me, trying to figure out the rear a little bit with trying to get the rear to stick in its position more, and just finding that drive exiting corners and keeping it more to follow the ground. So that's a few things that I'm looking to kind of improve on, and some things that are already, you know, ahead of last year's, and we'll only continue to get better.
How was Idaho this week?
Idaho was fun. I love it there.
I bet, do you miss like all the tracks you probably rode that you were probably sick of like 5 years ago? Do you go back and just, you gotta have a whole different respect and love for it?
Yeah, it's, I think going home for me, just being in Florida and like, it's not like I go home and it's different, but it's just like the change of scenery for me. Back home with some old buddies that I grew up with, and I haven't seen them in months and months, and I can go home and immediately just like click like that, and it brings back a lot of good memories for me, you know, like that's riding there and being from Idaho, like that's everything I did there, what got me to this point, you know, so it's going back and especially having the success I did last weekend, going back before it, like that part was really cool to me and really special, because it's like even the little kids that are riding there, I'm like, it kind of goes to show them, like, you don't need to go travel around and go to these other training facilities to make your dreams come true. Like, I did it from this track right here, and look where I'm at now. So
I think a lot of people forget that. We talked about it a lot more during the early transition in your career, but you were doing your final amateur, a lot of off-road races, still was in Idaho a bit. Even when you first went to the compound, you were still doing all your own bike work. Like, a lot of people maybe lose sight of, oh, he's on HRC Honda, he's got all the tools, but you still did it a different way.
Yeah, definitely. And like, I like to say everyone does a different way, you know, like obviously there's a lot of similar stuff, but everyone's brought up different. Everyone has a different story. Like, my story is unique, you know, there's only been 2 or 3 guys from Idaho that have ever done anything, and really only Jake is what comes to my mind that's really done anything. So it's special for me to try and continue that legacy for Idaho, and I have a lot of pride in it. And I know there's a lot of people back home in Pocatello that are cheering me on, and a lot of people that I don't know that are still cheering me on just because they have some friends of friends that are friends with me. So it's just that support of really a whole community behind me, and honestly a whole state behind me as well. Like, that's super special, and I don't feel like a lot of people can relate, you know, except for the people that come out of the country and they have, you know, their country back home rooting for them. Like, it's really special for me to go back, and honestly my success is my way of giving back to the community for all the support, and even giving back to the people in my dad's shop for all those years of them covering my dad while my dad's driving across the country all night to take me to the races. And you know, it brings back a lot of good memories for me going back to Idaho, and it's more of like a home vibe for me. Like, I do love being in Florida, and it's my home right now, but like when I go back to Idaho, it just brings back a lot of good memories.
Let's backtrack a little bit. We're talking about last week's amazing performance, but talk about even the week before, you know, some mislabeling of what happened to you going into Hangtown. But talk about the recovery week. We go from having to pull out of the second moto to the most dominant performance of your career so far. How tough was the week to get recovered, and what were you facing?
Yeah, so obviously the week going into Hangtown, I had food poisoning the Sunday, Monday, Tuesday prior. That was really hard on my body. I couldn't eat anything solid till about like Wednesday, Thursday. Really like Wednesday nights when I had like a solid meal but still didn't feel like very good. Thursday I was finally able to keep some like decent food down. Friday I started feeling a little bit normal, just more like kind of just tired almost. And then Saturday just couldn't keep my food down. So then I I could only really hydrate myself. It was hard for me to keep food down because it was like I had like a stomach bug as well. But I mean, long story short, I puked up everything, puked up all my food, and obviously all my hydration stuff. So I mean, I guess I was electrolyte deficient, but having enough food in me as well at the hottest race of the year, like it just killed me. And especially going up the week leading up to it, not being able to eat food and being able to, you know, fuel my muscles, my body, like it takes a bigger toll than what people think. So, like, I got an IV Saturday between motos, and then Sunday, Monday, I just tried to focus on just getting as much food in as possible. So I was eating Sunday, Monday, Tuesday as much as I could. But then Tuesday, Wednesday, I had a solid day on the bike, and I just felt good again. I think it was just because I was obviously hydrating and getting the food back in me that my body needed, that, you know, I deprived it of the week prior. So yeah, going into the weekend, I felt really good. And I think mentally I was just so focused on trying to get back into, obviously I'm so far out of the championship right now, but you know, I had the goal to go in, and like, you can only, if the best you gotta do is 1-1 to get back into this thing. Like, you can do it. And we made some good improvements on the bike, and I was like, you know what, it's time for me to make this thing happen. Like, there's been a handful of times I've been fastest in practice, and it doesn't translate, you know. And I'm sure everyone heard it after the first moto. I said, this means nothing if I can't go back it up in the second moto. So being able to go 1-1 there, like, it was a special feeling for sure. But like, at the end of the day, like, the job's not done. We got many weeks to come up, and I'm still so far out of it. So to me, like, it was a big accomplishment for me, but like, it didn't satisfy me at all.
One last thing to touch on, what is it about Thunder Valley? I mean, that was your first moto win last year, great performance, that second moto back in 2024, race weekend. What is about Click? Is it the dirt similar to home? Is it the elevation? What is it that works for you there?
I don't know if it's me that elevates there, or if other people kind of struggle going there with the elevation, or just because obviously like the track being on the hillside, and like there's some corners you come into, and the bike's really, it stands you up a lot. Like, you feel like some corners you really have to lean over to get the bike to lean over. Like, I don't know if it's just something like that where other guys struggle coming to Thunder Valley, or if that's just something that I can adapt to better. But I don't know, it's not like it's really close to anything that I grew up riding. I mean, the dirt's a lot different, but obviously it ruts up and gets deep, and I grew up riding ruts, and having to be able to just be super fluent on the bike and super balanced. And I think for me, it gives me a homey vibe with the mountains, and definitely I have some friends that show up there and support me. So I've always enjoyed it there. I've never, had any really bad luck there. So I think it's one of those tracks that's just, I seem to always elevate at and always just seem to have good results. So.
Retailer, welcome to your first U.S. Pro Motocross race. So originally you were actually supposed to race Supercross this year, were the fill-in, but sadly the fill-in experience didn't last long. Tell us how long you've been here and kind of what the original plan was.
Yeah, the original plan was to fill in for Devon for the 250 East, and then unfortunately I had a thumb injury and it kind of led to a bit longer than I expected, and I was hoping to make the last few Supercross, but it didn't really work out. And then being back riding at club and riding pretty well, so Brendan and Mike gave me an opportunity to come race at High Point this weekend, and I'm looking forward to it. It should be good.
So you probably jumped on a lot of people's radar last year with some of your WSX results. When you initially got hurt here, was there thought maybe I should just go back to Australia, or is this, I know with anybody like U.S. Supercross particularly is the dream, but to stay here, do you feel like this is really your path right now to stay in America and try to make that opportunity work?
Yeah, hopefully. I've been given a good opportunity from Club MX, and they've been really understanding with everything that went on and things like that. So I'm hoping to stay and hopefully do good.
So this weekend you were racing. Correct me if I'm wrong, I believe you're going back for some visa stuff after this, so are we just going to see you this weekend?
Yeah, the plan is just this weekend, as I've got to go back in about a week or two to sort out my visa and things like that. But no, I'm not really sure. Everything's a bit up in the air at the moment. But hopefully make a few at the end of the series also.
Okay. So I guess bluntly, why High Point? Have you just been recovered to the point this is a race you wanted to do? You wanted to get one done before you went back? Why High Point?
Just kind of, I wasn't really ready to do the Fox Raceway, and I've just kind of, still been building back from my injury, and Brendan thought this would be a good round, so here we are.
What are your expectations for tomorrow?
I'm not really sure on expectations as I haven't raced here, but I'm hopefully, run up front at the start and see what we can do and get my feet wet, really.